Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas, and today's review is on the Untitled by Haydenshapes. I remember talking to Hayden on the phone about this particular model, asking him why the Untitled name. And he was trying to tell me that it was hard for him to categorize the board, or didn't want to categorize it because it's such a versatile board. And you know, after riding it, I would have to agree. It worked good in the 1 to 3 foot surf. I liked it in the 2 to 4 foot surf, but I never really got to try it in the 4 to 6 foot plus because we never got the swell. But I'm really curious to see how it would go there. Now look, we're gonna dive into the attributes of this board and find out what makes it so unique and so versatile, but I have it in 2 different constructions. I have it in the Future Flex and the PE, so sit back and enjoy the show. So looking at this board, I see some key ingredients that make it good both for small wave surfing and for performance surfing in bigger waves. So let's look at the small wave features first, starting with the wide point front from center. Now what's that going to do for me? It's going to have more surface area towards the nose, it's going to give me more foam under my chest, and it also has a flat deck. Now the flat deck is a great way to hide foam and maximize volume. The last thing I have to mention is it has a low entry rocker. These 3 things are key to a great small wave board. It's going to maximize my paddling and speed down the line. So I mentioned earlier that it has a flat deck. Well, what I love about it is he tapered the rail really nice. And as I put my hand through it and I run my finger down it, it's really soft all the way through here, which makes the board very forgiving. But as we get from here back, it starts to get sharp, and then we come into the wing. Now this sharp line and the wing will help me grip the face of the wave. This wing will also give me a break in the rail line, which will act as a pivot point, and then it begins to reduce surface area in the back here, which will narrow the tail and make it better for me to do performance surfing in the pocket. So now I want to look at the features that make this a good performance board in bigger waves. So before I talk about the swallowtail, let's have a look at the concaves. As we run it down here, it starts pretty far up, but this is a pretty aggressive single concave all the way down. Now I'm through the fins, it's starting like a little double to a V out the back there. And that V is going to help roll rail to rail and transition really smooth, and that's exactly how it felt. And the slight double here is also going to make it a little bit looser. Now, one of the things I have to mention about this board is that it has a good amount of tail rocker. And that tail rocker is going to give me that traction in transition with nice tight arcing turns in the pocket, coupled with the swallowtail. And that swallowtail is also going to grip the face of the wave. So these different attributes is what makes this board a good performance board in bigger waves. So I want to talk about the PE construction. It stands for Polyurethane Foam and Epoxy resin. Now the epoxy is supposed to be a little bit more lively underfoot, but to be honest with you, I couldn't really feel that because I ordered the board a little bit too thick. I ordered it 2 3/8 and I should have ordered it 2 5/16. So I didn't feel like I could load the board like I wanted to, and I felt like my turns were a little bit delayed. I'll explain. If I go to the bottom, I get a good first turn, but then my second turn feels off. And then my third turn feels good again. So that's kind of what was going on in my feet, and that's usually what happens when I have too much volume. So in that aspect of the board, I couldn't really get what I wanted out of it, but I will talk about how I've ridden this board roughly 6 times and I have barely any pressure dents whatsoever. And usually after the second or third time of riding a board on a polyurethane foam, I have big toe and heel dents. So the durability on this board is really good. So now I want to look at the Future Flex technology, and it starts with an EPS stringless core, and the EPS stands for expanded polystyrene, and it has an epoxy resin. Now most of the constructions of today that are using a stringless EPS core, they're using carbon fiber that runs up the middle of the board, either on the deck or the bottom, or both, to control and manipulate flex. Now I'll explain how they're taking carbon fiber or even a wood stringer, as they place it down the middle, that's acting as the spine of the surfboard. So as I'm going down the line to generate speed, it's flexing and then it's springing back. It's flexing and then it's springing back, which works perfectly going horizontally, and it's also twisting torsionally around that centerpiece, right? But it makes perfectly good sense that they've taken the carbon fiber and they moved it out here to the rail to give it a carbon fiber parabolic frame. That's like taking the wood stringer out here to the rail all the way around so you can control flex and manipulate it faster. For example, let's look at this PU board. I was talking about getting a bunch of speed down the line, and this stringer is going to work for me and do that. But when I want to engage the rail on a bottom turn going super fast, all that I have to focus all that energy on is the foam, the fiberglass, and the resin. So the rail's going to flex, and then it needs to go back to its normal shape. And what I'm saying that makes sense is that if this stringer was out here on the rail, it would get its shape back faster. Now we're in the same spot, we're on the bottom turn, we're on the future flex, and we've got the carbon fiber parabolic frame to support all the energy with this rail being in the water on top of the foam, the fiberglass, and the resin. What's that gonna do? Well, it's gonna spring back to its normal shape quickly, and that's what it feels like under my feet. I feel like as I go down the line, I hit the bottom turn, it springs me out of that and into the next turn. As opposed to when I'm on the PU board, it feels like it's got good flex down the line, but then after I hit the turn, it takes me a lot longer to get the speed going again after that turn I hit. So I feel like this one I'm working harder, and this one's working for me. Now the last thing I want to mention is how they're controlling torsion flex by the way they're laying the glass. They're running it in 0 degree, 90 degree, and 45. So it's giving the board great durability, but what it's really doing is by tightening up that torsion flex, it's allowing this carbon fiber, which is unidirectional, to flex one way. And that is allowing the rails to work for you the way they're designed. So now I want to talk about the fins I chose for the future flex. I started with the Dane Reynolds size large Captain fin because it has a medium flex pattern, it has a good amount of sweep or rake to it, and that fin suits my surfing, and I like that especially when I'm jumping on a new board and I want to try it. So those fins felt great, and then the waves got a little bit smaller. I thought, what can I get? Let's get a little bit more pivot, something that's a little bit faster. Then I went with the HS1 generation, which is about an 8.4 on the ride number, so a little more flex, V2 foil on the inside, so it's all about speed and tighter turns in the pocket, and that felt great. Now, as the waves got a little bit bigger, I thought, well, I want to try something with a little bit more control. Even though the board's flexing, I went with a John large Tech Flex, which is about roughly a 3.7 on the ride number, and these felt great too. Now the fins I chose for the PE are the HS1 generation, which is the speed generating fin. It is a size large, but they're a bit more upright. I rode it both as a thruster and as a quad, but I liked it more as a quad. And you can see it, the fin boxes, I noticed that they're closer together than my regular quad setup boxes, and it felt great. What I feel like I was getting out of this by them being closer, almost like a thruster feel. It had a great pivot off like there was a center fin there, but I had the drive of a quad. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the review on the Untitled today. I can see now why they didn't want to put it in a category. This board's super fun, and I can't wait to try it in some bigger waves. So special shout out thanks to Hayden Cox. Thanks for sending the boards down for review. And if you like the show, subscribe. You can also find us under surfandshow.com. That's it for today. Take care. Bye-bye.
Your time. Oh my, the years how they die, years how they die away. There's nothing but change, it's certain I say, it's certain we make our time. Well spent, you will not believe, do not believe where it's when. Guilty am I of letting what I hide hold me down. In hesitation I may drown. No one else will be here if I waste my life. Cause oh my, the years how they die, years how they die away. There's nothing but change, it's certain I say, it's certain we make our time.